Jamie Cooper, Sensi Connects. Let's start off with congratulations on winning the lottery. Now, I guess you got a ways to go from there, but why don't you explain what I just said? People may not have been on the last show a week ago to understand that.
Yeah, so we submitted an application in Grand Haven for a provisioning center, and the city was accepted. So they took in applications back in July, and then they did the lottery last week, and there were 7 that were submitted, and then they drew the lotteries. So those people that were drawn go in front of the planning commission now, and they are opening up. They're giving 4 licenses out, and there were 7 applications submitted, and we got the second draw. So the lucky draw here in Grand Haven, super exciting. And so now, a lot of work lies ahead of us, and just fun times as always.
So, what are you going to call your provisioning center? Do you have a name yet?
I'm not going to be disclosing those details just yet.
Okay.
Everybody keeps asking, but those details will come out soon enough.
I'm thinking Coco's joint, or something like that. Got to get Coco in there.
Right. That's so funny. Coco would love the attention too.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Sensi Connects. Now, we always assume that we have new people on watching the show, and they may not be familiar with what you do. So why don't you go ahead and tell us?
So Sensi Connects, we are a B2B networking and lead referral organization. We host weekly networking events to bring industry professionals together. Our Michigan events are every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. So we are having an event tonight. If you are free, definitely join us. We have a lot of fun, and it's great to bring everybody together on a consistent basis to actually build relationships. And then when those relationships are built, it turns into a referral network. And so, and we are right now preparing to launch the model that we built here in Michigan into several other states, California, Colorado, Nevada, Massachusetts, Maryland, and we launched in Pennsylvania and Florida a couple of months ago, and we'll be relaunching those events. So we'll be rocking and rolling in no time, and building community on the B2B side in states nationwide.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the Sensi Connects Michigan cannabis community. What are some of the hot things happening these days?
So Abco Labs was on here, what was it, last week or the week before? They're having their golf tournament the end of this month on September the 27th. Super excited to be a part of that and help support them as a testing facility. And, we like to support all the events that are being hosted in the communities. We have the Cannabis Industrial Marketplace that will be hosting an event in November. It's a virtual conference and expo. And so anyone who is planning to host an event, get a hold of me, because we do want to include you in our events calendar. And so we want to continue. Our goal is to support the industry and the community as a whole. We know that working and building a business in this industry is not very easy. And so we try to make it a little bit easier by connecting you to the resources and the people that you need to be successful.
Okay.
And then look out for our Sensi magazine. So we have Sensi magazine is a city lifestyle magazine focused on the music, art, culture of Michigan with a pro-cannabis stance. And here in the next few days, you'll be seeing our September issue get released. And then every month we'll be releasing a new digital issue. We're launching a new Sensi Michigan website, where it will be all about the lifestyle around cannabis and giving a lot of these businesses that are building and becoming operational right now some love. I'm super excited to be releasing a new column that's going to be highlighting all the new stores that are launching for either medical or adult use, and some of the new products that we are seeing hit the market. I talked to Flourish a couple of days ago, and they're releasing a drink enhancer that is a little dropper where you can enhance your drinks instead of drinking alcohol, and I'm excited about that. I don't know about you guys, because I stopped drinking not too long ago, and so now to have an enhancer where I can add a little, bit of spice to my drink, I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see Scott is muted. Did you want to leap into this conversation?
First, I just wanted to congratulate Jamie on the dispensary. I was kind of working with her on that, so it's great to see all of that come together, and because that, it was a good amount of work. So it's always nice to kind of see a project and kind of have some positive results. Though we are not done yet, Jamie. We still have some ways to go. And, I also just mentioned it not as a plug to Jamie, but I guess kind of, I did just, transfer over, and now I'm a member of Sensi Connects, formerly of Cannabis Connection. And I can't really speak highly enough about Jamie and the events, virtual or otherwise, she's put through. We've gotten clients from it, and we've met a lot of people. And even if it's not a client, it's just good to have connections in the industry. You can never, as an attorney, you can never know too many cannabis accountants or cannabis insurance agents and that sort of thing. So her group has been great for that. So I just want to give a shameless plug to that.
Actually, which is a good segue. There was one item I didn't bring up from your talking points list, and that is marijuana events post-COVID. And now that we have the queen of the marijuana events in Michigan joining us, why don't we talk about that? What's that like? It's hard to say. Well, number one, when is it going to end? Your guess is as good as mine. But on my Monday show, we do have an epidemiologist who's predicting that we'll have a vaccine sometime next spring, but then you got to distribute it. So we're probably stuck with this for another year. So on the flip side, when we come out of this, how do you see things changing? Jamie, Scott, Rick?
I'll maybe start, and then I'm sure Jamie has some thoughts. I kind of see it fitting into two molds. On the one hand, I see like cannabis specific events, kind of like, Ferndale has a pig and whiskey, something that's really in a cannabis event focused on cannabis, probably put on by a cannabis company, and really kind of the event being just cannabis or having that being the main theme. But I also see it being kind of an add-on to other events. And, I think this is something where there was some movement on it pre-COVID, and then everything has been at a standstill since then. But, I also see it having a lot of potential of, taking a current event, an event that's already scheduled to take place, and then adding that extra cannabis component to it. And, right now my office is actually in the Masonic Temple, and the Masonic Temple has a lot of events. And I've kind of talked to them about this. I'm not sure it's time's right for that. But, what the one thing insight they did have as a company, or I guess a nonprofit that puts on probably as many events as anyone in the state of Michigan, marijuana, not only is it another revenue source, which these events always like, but, a marijuana crowd, or at least a crowd that has access to marijuana versus a pure alcohol crowd, I can tell you they notice a difference, and they much prefer crowds, even though sometimes people smoke indoors and they shouldn't do that. Crowds that are smoking more than just, chugging beers or doing shots, because in the end, it's better for the event space. There's a lot less damage that will happen. The crowds are a lot less rowdy. Fights don't break out. There's not a lot of people that smoke a joint and then start, belligerently picking fights. But, you see people do 3 or 4 shots, and then all of a sudden they want to fight the world. So, I think it's just something that, obviously time will tell. And, it's going to probably be a while before we have our first one in Michigan. But I think it has, kind of like the lounge, it has a lot of potential, as both a kind of a marijuana focused thing, like a specific, but also as just a general add-on to existing events, for ways for event venues to maybe make a little extra money, attract some more people, or just generally have a chiller, less destructive crowd.
I think the industry is ready to explode as soon as we get the okay from the governor to have gatherings of more than 100 indoors. I think you're going to go see the cannabis business to business functions increase dramatically. I do the Michigan Cannabis Business Development Group, which is really a conference series where you have speakers on a stage and people surrounding on tables watching. That might be a little bit of a difficult sell, but a Thomas Tong style cannabis conference where you have booths and people walk by and there's a physical separation of a table between you and the other person. Those things are very likely to spring back in. And when they do, I expect there to be just a huge plethora of these things popping up all over the place. Vegas, MJ Business Daily is already going to have a conference in December in Vegas, typical of the monstrously huge circus style events that they have in the past. So we're already seeing some move towards normality at the end of our year. 2021 is going to be the year where everybody tries to make up all their losses from 2020. I think we'll see twice as many conferences and events in 2021 as we normally would have if it had been a regular year.
Jamie?
Well, going into, this podcast that we are amongst right now, with thanks to you, Mike, we, like, GVSU just announced, like, the Ottawa County Health Department has required all of those living in housing on campus and off campus at Grand Valley State University to quarantine for 14 days. And it's because they have seen 600 cases since August 23rd and starting school. And that just kind of that right there kind of shows you the jumping the gun, like we can't, like, I had to cancel our annual beach party that was scheduled for August 16th. And, we looked into the possibility of really limiting, because it was an outdoor venue, but really limiting the attendance to 100 people there at all times. But then I kept thinking about, like, the bad PR that could come out of it and what that could mean for my company and the work that would go behind fighting it, and it's just, I just did not want to take those chances. I don't want to put other people's health at risk, because the thing about our events in the cannabis industry, there's a lot of consumption that's usually happening, and there will be people passing joints around. And so I think that consumption element is definitely going to change. We're not going to see the passing of joints anymore. We're not going to see events where there's a dab station set up and people are using the same dab rig. I mean, we're going to see a different transition in our industry. And I think, on our end, we had to cancel. There's two events that we host. One is a B2B type event, ranging anywhere between 25 people to probably about 250 people. And then we had our B2C event, which was more about 750 people range to 1,000 people range. And we had to cancel a total of close to 40 events for the rest of the year. And I suggest, we evolved. On the B2B side, we took our events virtual. Those are going well, and we're having a lot of fun despite sitting in our homes. I do feel that same sense of connection that I would feel sitting, standing face to face with someone at one of our B2B events, in downtown Royal Oak. And then the B2C side, I want to encourage our industry to really step up and offer some support to the musicians, the entertainment industry that is, like, being largely impacted. Like, these poor musicians, that their entire income was from having shows and concerts, and now they don't have that. And so I see a lot of stuff online where these musicians are delivering shows from the comfort of their home to their fans. But we as an industry should really step up and try to host more virtual events, giving those musicians some love and helping get them paid too, because times are tough.
Yeah, that not having that physical contact. Rick and I were together at Rudy Petros's event on Saturday, which was outdoors and limited amount of people.
So good.
30 or 40 people there, but it was just about the right size. And, I've forgotten how much I enjoy just being around people, because everything is virtual these days. So it's kind of hard to replace that element. But again, what are you going to do? All right. So.
You can't replace a hug.
That's it. Yeah. I know you're a hugger too. So
I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
I miss hugs.
difficult to break people's behavior too. You will still see a certain element of Michigan passing joints. You'll probably see a couple people just hanging on their own, doing it Jamaica style where they don't pass joints, but there will still be dab rigs hanging out, just fewer people utilizing it, and more people doing their own thing. And as we mature as an industry, maybe that'll become the trend. But I know people are so eager to get back to the things that they're familiar with, and those type of social interactions surrounding cannabis, that's so intricate to our gatherings. I can't imagine that people are going to just abandon some of those super intense socialization moments.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show. This is where I give you a chance to do your shameless plug to promote your company, your project, whatever it is on your mind, within reason, of course. So we'll start with Rick.
Well, we have the Michigan Democratic Party's Cannabis Caucus. We hold meetings every Saturday at 4:20 virtually on our Facebook page with Zoom. I'm also involved in a couple of other podcasts, naturally Jazz Cabbage Cafe every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. with cannabis legend Jamie Lowell and myself. And then on Mondays, I do a kind of a smoke and swear type podcast from 9 to 11, broadcast on YouTube called Medical Mondays, not for the faint of heart, but the business broadcast we do here with the 420 posts is really quite special.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Scott, you can unmute and you can plug Scott F. Roberts Law, right?
Yeah, well, we actually did a DBA. We decided to drop the F. So
okay.
Officially Scott Roberts Law now. You can look us up at scottrobertslaw.com. And also, I also have a brokerage company I'm a co-owner of, and that's MCP, or Michigan Cannabis Properties. So, if you're looking to get in the industry, or, just looking for, to sit down with someone for an hour, you can schedule a consultation with us, and we're happy to help. So
first consultation is free, right?
No. No, not for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Scott, I'm still going to, when people ask me for an attorney referral, I'm still going to refer you as Scott Effin Roberts, man. Go get Scott Effin Roberts. That's
there you go.
F is for family.
F lives.
Okay. Well, Jamie?
Yeah, so we're hosting our Michigan B2B networking event tonight. You can register at SensiConnects.com. If you can't make it tonight, we do it every Wednesday. We're also hosting one for the East Coast on September 28th, and on the West Coast, September 29th. We're starting to kind of ramp things up to release our events in each of the states, and so we're doing an East Coast event and a West Coast event. And then if you're launching any new products or stores in the next 6 to 8 weeks, please get a hold of me. You can email me at jamie.cooper@sensimag.com. I'd love to include you, any operators, in that section where we highlight some of the new products and stores that are opening. And I got to give Scott Roberts some love too, because he really killed it on our application, and saw that man work really well under pressure. And so kudos to you, Scott, and anyone that I've ever talked to that has done business with Scott has loved him. So
he's muted, so he can't comment. So
thank you for the kind words.
All right. And of course, tonight at 6, you've just got a sample of what Jamie Cooper can do. If you want to join the whole group at 6 o'clock, tell them how to do that.
Yeah, just go to SensiConnects.com, and what it is you're registering in our app, and once you register, you can have access to the attendee list, and then you can connect with some of the attendees of the event. So it's a lot of fun. We have technology tools to help keep you better connected on the digital front, and would love to see you there if any of you guys can make it.